Ooh, what is up, buds? Welcome to WeeDnD's YouTube exclusive, Getting Higher with WeeD&D. I am your dungeon master for this small event, and my name is Brandon Allen McClenahan, but folks around here are starting to call me Bam, and you know what? I dig it. So, thanks so much for joining us, guys. I know we always get to talk to our Twitch audience and not so much our YouTube. We just want all our YouTube buds to know we freaking love you guys. Big ups to all our people from Twitch that are coming over and checking this thing out. But basically, this is kind of a little more laid back kind of vibe. We're just going to take the Ferocious Five up a level. They did just defeat the green dragon in the city of Emerella. And, you know, when you kill a dragon, you got to level up, right? So I'm going to bring in my favorite people in the world, sending it out here to the beautiful and wonderful cast of WeeD&D. Welcome in, guys. How are you doing?
Baby!
Oh yeah!
Oh yeah!
Oh yeah!
Oh yeah!
Got my WeeD&D shirt. Look out. Oh. Ooh. All right, guys. So, yes. Welcome in, you gorgeous people. We do like to start our things off around here the same way. Maybe you've heard about it. Maybe you haven't. But just because this is getting higher doesn't mean we don't do it. We're going to take our hands. We're going to fill them with a lighter. We're going to check around, make sure nothing's able to catch on fire. And we're going to go lighters up. Thanks for leveling up your D&D characters with us, guys. All right. Whew, how you guys feeling, man? Like, first off, first dragon, man. How are you guys feeling right now? I gotta know.
I'm really high.
Man, I feel like we punched up hard and came out looking clean. Hell yeah.
I agree. I was really nervous. I was like, there's just no way. But then, but I just
and dying.
right. I was like,
I got
no
better.
fucking
I got
way.
better.
Yeah. And I was happy to support in that, but oh man, it didn't look good there for a minute.
Things got a little sketchy.
Yeah.
There was no way that I was not going to let Bruno attack a dragon. Like, there's just no way. Especially like, Bam has the best like description. He literally was like putting it out on a platter, like the dragon for the very first time is right in front of you, and you could just see like Bruno's eyes like glistening. There's no way I wasn't gonna attack it. So I was really happy that you guys supported me.
Yeah, you guys wrecked it, man.
Doing that role play, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I think that's a great example there too, man, of just like I speak to your guys' abilities all the time, but that's a case of like playing your character's intention and motivations rather than like, you know, playing an optimization game to see who goes when and what you can do. Like it was a great moment. So, and I think the story that came after it was all the better for it. So, yeah, man, congrats on your first dragon.
We killed a dragon. We killed a dragon. We killed a dragon. We killed a dragon.
Now,
Oh boy, it's getting dark over there.
yeah, Dibbit's taking a dark shift. We might talk about that here in a little bit. I'm going to go ahead and start us off this evening, however, with our fighters, since we do have two of them. Fighters going from 5th to 6th level, it's not nearly as exciting, unfortunately, as 5th level when you got that sweet extra attack. However, because you're a fighter, you get another ability score improvement. So you can either add 1 to 2 stats, plus 2 to 1 stat, or take a feat. So you guys have, you know, whatever option before you would like to go. You also get some more hit points. So do you guys want to like roll for hit points, take the average, or how do you want to do that?
I'm gonna go. I'm sorry.
You go first.
No. You please. I insist.
Fun. Beauty before age.
I'm so much older than you are.
Yeah, says you. So you think.
Brenna's actually an elf.
Average.
Yes, I will take the average as well.
You know, most people say average is all you need.
See? A
Good.
good
I think it was a girthy average that you needed, though.
We're going with a girthy average tonight? Yes, so for my fighters, what that would mean, fighters get, you could roll a d10 or you get half of that plus 1. In this case, you would get 6 hit points plus your con modifier. So whatever your con mod is, add that to 6 and you have that many more hit points. Again, like I said, unfortunately for fighters, it's kind of a slow level. But a big decision here with your ability score improvements. Go ahead, Brunor, what are you thinking?
I just want to be more strong. I need to be a strong boy. That's all I really care about at this point.
Beefy boy.
I've killed a dragon. I'm just like so excited that I'm roiding out. I just want to make sure that all the hits that I take now count. Like, I want to try to make that happen.
Awesome. So you're at a 16 currently. That'll beef you up to an 18, which is a very nice. That'll give you a +4 modifier. Basically, it'll add 1 to your attack, your damage, and all your physical abilities. So it's really strong for the things that you tend to do. And I think it's a great choice. Boosting you up to 18 will help you kind of across the board.
Hell yeah.
Now, I mean, I like to tie in the events of a level up to kind of do the development of your character. And in your case, Brunor, you have now finally slain a dragon. Of course, we know Brunor's whole reason for being is an attempt at retribution against Exonius, the shadow dragon that took over her hometown of Elmira. And so this is like really that first step that makes you realize that your growth as an adventurer, the strength of your allies, that not only, is this possible, but that you are already on your way. And your attunement with Angerel, the elven blade forged by the elven kings to kill dragons exclusively, is now, you're more connected to it than ever, So now you, in battle, you two are finally matched, both of you ascending towards your destinies. So, Brunor, like I said, in that moment where your hair was kind of floating like you were underwater and it kind of had that Super Saiyan effect, in that moment, that wave, that wave of energy just, revitalizes you. So that's where this new inner strength comes from, as you attune to the greater purpose of Brunor. Now, you sent me a message, but you didn't say what it was, but you said you had something about your name that you wanted to talk with me about.
Oh, God.
I've been freaking out about it all week.
I remember this.
Okay, so I thought this would be fun, is if Brunor's last name is the Sea Serpent. So we've always said Brunor the Sea Serpent.
Oh.
But we've just been saying it wrong. It's actually Brunor the Sea Serpent.
The Sea Serpent, just one word.
Sea Serpent. Yeah, it's all.
Okay.
That's actually her last name. But we just think, you hear something and says, the Sea Serpent. But no, it's not that. It's actually.
So it's Ms. the
So
Sea
you're
Serpent.
military.
That's the serpent.
Yeah, you're in the military. So they
Okay,
choose your last name.
wait though.
Oh my God.
Because so you've just gained a new moniker with this last beast. So I just want to make sure that I've got this straight. Your name would now be Brunor, the Sea Serpent, the Serpent Slayer.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah.
See what happened there. Yeah.
Wait,
That is a forked tongue pull if I've ever heard one.
just saying, I feel it's just very important that we've been, Bruner's not really one to like correct folks. Like she's a folk hero, but she just doesn't she allows people to just kind of say whatever because she's focused on what she's here to do. She's not trying to be political. She has nothing to do with anything. So she's not going to sit around and be like, actually, it's the Sea Serpent.
Yeah.
But people, it's fine. It's okay with it. But I think we've gotten along long enough now that she's turning to the five and going, I need you all to know something about me.
Oh, God.
I feel like right now is the time to tell you something from my heart.
Please.
Is that
Yeah.
if it's inappropriate, just let me know. I don't have to do it right now. If it's too gnarly, just let me know.
It's extremely inappropriate, so we're probably going to do it.
Okay, great.
I'm kidding.
No.
I wanna know
You
everything about you.
should
You're
feel
from the-
comfortable enough to talk to us. Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah, it's us. Come on.
So
Come on.
you guys know my name, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you?
Yeah. I mean, you guys know her name.
I've mispronounced it several times, but yeah, you're Brunor.
Yeah, Brunor.
To be fair, you guys don't always know your own name. The Fantastic Five, the Fastidious Five.
Fastidious.
Yeah. Well, okay. Yeah, the Sea Serpent. I just feel like I haven't really given you guys. My last name is the Sea Serpent.
Right. Yeah.
Sea serpent. Okay.
Makes
No,
sense.
like
Sea serpent.
like.
Oh, you're of the Vessa serpents.
Yes, thank you, Divot. Thank you. Yes.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm
You're
a.
not,
Oh.
you're not related to Baron von Sea Serpent, are you?
Well, like twice removed. It's
They dropped the yeah. They migrated up.
Dropped the because it was weird going through the island and they were checking on immigration and yeah.
Medieval customs is brutal, guys.
I feel like this like terrible. She feels like she needs to come out with this truth, but everyone's like, yeah, we get it. Fine. Anyway, dragon.
All right,
Fine.
so-
It weighs out like before bed. You're just like staring at the ground, like I can't believe I deceived my friends and allies.
My friends.
Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and sign off on that in a big way. In fact, I'm
Great.
going to update your character sheet correctly. So I'll take out some of these capital letters,
Yeah.
and
Oh.
so I want to see what this actually looks like. It looks like your name is Brunor Thieser Serpent. Thieser Serpent.
Sea Serpent.
Oh, serpent. It's
Oh,
the
that's
sea
great.
Serpent.
The
It's
serpent.
The THU, the sea serpent.
Yes. This,
The Vessa serpent.
I
this,
can-
these asper these
These
acerpents.
serpent.
The Esper.
Serpent.
That looks
Well-
so funny written out.
It's just gonna change every time. These serpent.
And she's so it's Brunor, the sea serpent, the serpent slayer.
Yeah.
Oop, I put Slater. Slater.
Slayer.
Serpent Slater.
I don't hate that.
Yes, and for those of you unfamiliar, Brunor, one of the other quirks about her folk hero backstory is that most people just assume she's a man. And so when she'll be in bars, like people will be talking about the exploits of the sea serpent right next to her, but not assume that they're related because they think that the sea serpent, is a man instead of the last name of Bruno.
And then what's great, I like to think that she hears the story and she's like, "Oh man, I did the same thing and no one's talking about it." Like,
Who is this other Brenner? He's stealing all my stuff.
fucking jam it, this fucking
my
asshole.
So
Whatever.
awesome.
And then just like leaves, like. I wish I were famous, like.
Awesome,
Shut-
Brunor. Well, that is, I would say, the highlight of your of your leveling there. Fantastic. I love it. I will make sure to update the name placards accordingly.
Yeah.
Yes.
It does look so good written out in front. It looks like I had a stroke midway through typing it. Like the pent,
That's
pent.
yeah.
All right.
Yep.
Outstanding.
Fighter number 2, Thoricus, Dwarficus, Onyx Heart. Now you and I have also. I've been chatting with my peeps this week, but you reached out to me with a rather interesting concept about potentially when you can. You tell it. You tell me what you want to do. I don't want to steal it for you, but you reached out to me asking if you could do this. Explain what it is, and then I'll tell you how we're gonna do it.
Oh God, that was a lot. Like I said, I got pretty high pretty quick. So I'm trying to just adjust.
Yeah.
I think I remember telling you that if it was possible to find or retrieve Lucille the Fury from the Raqqa and uncurse the old
Blightbringer.
Blightbringer, thank you.
Yeah.
From my hand, and because I am well versed in the dwarven blacksmithing arts, somehow fuse the two together and use it as like almost like a double axe thing on both sides, but like a pole arm that I could spin around and just be a fuck tornado
Yes.
of pain.
That's yeah. So no, I love this concept, and it's this is like a good note for any new DMs that may be watching. Stuff like this is just so cool that yes, the rules as written do not support it specifically in the nature of the PHB. But I went and looked, and there's quite a few options. We're going to kind of homebrew our own. But basically the concept is, so we're talking about a weapon that has a blade on each side. I like to think of it as the Darth Maul effect. So it's like you've got, but giving too many attacks and stuff is a real balance breaker. So what I did was I went and I looked at Polearm Master. And now Polearm Master has an ability in it where you can use a bonus action to get an extra attack with like the hilt of the weapon for like a D4 plus your attack modifier, which in your case would be strength, which is pretty strong with +5 strength. Now Polearm Master actually has other things about it that make it good. So I felt it would be fair. And again, I'm never telling you what to do. I'm just saying I did look into what you wanted to do. Okay. And I want you to know, yes, we could do something like that. I love great ideas like that. It fits your fighting style with like spinning around. I can just see Dwarfus Thoricus spinning this dope dual blade as he spins in battle. The tornado of fuck, to quote you. So yeah, what I think we're gonna do is establish a homebrew feat that we will extend into Ganjaria, and we'll flesh out this concept a little more as needed. But basically, there's a give and a take. It's going to be called the Dual Blade Master, and it's a fighting style feat akin to Polearm Master and the like, where it gives you kind of one other cool thing. Like in your case, you would have 2 different magical weapons, and it would allow you to choose which one at a time you're attacking with. So if one is better in a certain formula, this does give you a little advantage there. It also will allow you to do that bonus action attack. So you can use a bonus action and swing around with the bottom side, hitting for a D4 plus your strength. It wouldn't apply like your magical effects and stuff. It's like its own special ability. So
so I would get 2 attacks, but I could also bonus action on one of those and possibly get a third?
Correct. So because you're a fighter,
properties.
Yes, because you're a fighter, when you do the attack action, you get 2 attacks right now. So you would still get 2 attacks. Now the concession is that you're using great weapons, and I think some of the strength of a great weapon is the concept that you have a long handle with a heavy end, and you're cutting that down a little bit. So the other balance I think we should make is that by doing that to a great axe or by any weapon, we'll clarify for future use of the feat, it brings it down 1 damage grade. So in your case, your great axe does a D12. In this case, your combined great axes, each half would do 1d10. So you lose a little bit of the top end damage potential. You gain an extra attack with your bonus action option. A bonus action you're not using all the time as a fighter for the most part. And you gain the ability to utilize the benefits of 2 fused weapons at the same time, if that's the way you want to go with it. So that's kind of how it lays out right now. I'll definitely make a prettier format of it, but I do want you to know I went and dove into feats, and I really tried to find a nice balance. And again, for just newer DMs or players or stuff, this is like the give and take behind the screens of D&D, where it's like, you have a cool idea, I want you to love your idea, and if I love your idea, let's work on a way to make it work. So with homebrew, there's usually an agreed upon, like, we don't know how strong this is, and if it turns out too strong, I might need to turn the volume down on it a little bit. And so that would be kind of a thing that you and I would have to agree with between each other. But I think after looking at it, I sat on this one a little bit this week and decided I like the idea so much that it's worth homebrew, and it's another option when Ganjaria becomes whole, a new weapon category as well. There is some great homebrew online for this concept, so we're not inventing this. But I didn't necessarily love the way it was done to a T, so I added a little of my own flair to it. So yeah, dude, if you want to bypass upgrading, using your ability point modifiers to boost your stats and take the feat dual blade master, then I think we can do that. Like I said, unfortunately, right now Lucy or the Blightbringer is attached to your hand. So until that curse is broken, and yeah, you don't have Lucille. So until that curse is broken, there's still some objects between you and being able to fully utilize the potential of that thing. Now, if you wanted to like go buy a double axe or something, that's an option you could have too.
Don't insult me.
Take your 2 hand axes and make like a little throwing hand axe. You just strap a bow onto it. You're not using Dusty right now. So yeah, dude, if I think that's great. It'll be a fun new thing for us to play test in the show. Rules Explained's gonna hate it, and it's awesome.
Oh,
I think that's
I love how much they hate it.
Yes.
No, they don't even hate
I
it
will
that much. They
technically
just kind of say like,
love
as soon
how
as
much
they
they hate
say,
it.
they go, technically it's homebrew, so it doesn't matter, right?
That's right. It
They
is.
always
Yeah.
support
No,
that.
we have an agreement that it's. I like to, and I as Dungeon Master believe in rules as written. I think the guidelines really help everybody have a similar experience and be able to do kind of like what Drew did. Like he could look in the books, see if this idea is supported. If it's not quite, well, can we do some things and
Tweak
make it
it
work?
and-
Yeah. You know, and
Without
so,
it
and
being
that's
like-
why I like rules as written. And we do stray from the course. I've noticed the higher I get, the more flexible I get with those. But yeah, I do think this is key. This is one of the best tips that I could give to somebody. And like I said, Drew had to make a compromise. It's not quite as strong as I'm sure he pictured it in his mind, you know. And that's
Yeah, no.
as long as
I wanted to be OP as fuck,
Right.
but I understand
yes.
there are limitations, and you must
Everybody
take
wants to
risks.
be OP as fuck.
Of
So like,
course.
I don't fault you at all. Optimizing a character is a joy. You don't have to go too nuts with it, but it is fun, you know, to
Right.
make that you're heroes. I mean, you're not just people. You are heroes. You are world myth writing. You know, people will sing and have already sang songs of your exploits. So, fun
and
update
it's-
on that. The original song that was played the first episode of our show by Tom. He reached out to me that he did that whole song on a broken mandolin, which is why in the story the mandolin was broke. But he got a new mandolin and he wants to record an updated version of the 5 theme. So that's going to be a really
I'll
fun
sing with
thing
him.
that we'll play those snakes our way into. So yes, thank you to my fighters. I like I said, not the splashiest level, but you will now realize as a fighter, every 2 levels you get an ability point increase. So, you know, your physical attributes will start kind of getting bumped. You know, Brunor at 8th level, if you boosted your strength again, you would be as strong as you could be non-magically, just like Thorcus already is. So. But yeah, so yes, you've, you know, I like to think of Brunor's strength
these
and
beings?
Thorcus's strength a little differently. You know, like you are a sea elf, you're sleek by design, so you've got that, you know, ripped athletic surfer body where Thorcus has, you know, the kind of thick boy muscles, you know, that I dream of myself having when I look at the pictures that Vlad draws of me. I'm like, yeah, dude, that's totally what I look like with the guns and the big arms. Oh. You can't see behind the
nailed it,
screen.
bro.
Let me roll for deception. All right, we're gonna jump over to our boy Rial Othravon, Arcane
Ew.
Trickster. Now Rial, let me jump to you in the book. First thing is always hit points. Are you keeping with the trend and taking average, or did you want to stray from the herd?
Nah, man, I rolled so hot that first time. I'm not pressing that luck. I'm going average.
It's true. Almost everybody else has been spited by rolling. So yeah, with your average, your hit dice is a. I'm still on Brunor's page. I'm sorry. But a rogue, if I'm not mistaken, is a
Sorry.
D8. So you would get half of that D8 plus 1, which is 5, and then add your con modifier, which is 1. So you get 6 more hit points, taking you from 34 to 40 hit points.
Wow. Hi.
Oh yeah,
Hell yeah.
get it, boy.
Again, after getting
Oh,
Uncanny
great.
Dodge, such a dope ability at 5th level. 6th level is not quite as exciting. You do, as part of your being an Arcane Trickster, you do get... actually, no, even your spellcasting stays the same.
Yeah.
But you do, you get the ability called Expertise. So Expertise allows you pick 2 of your skills that you're proficient in already, and what it'll allow it to do is it adds double your proficiency bonus to those skills. So it's like you're extremely good at the things that you already were good at. That's kind of the only limitation. You have to use it on something you're already proficient in.
Wow.
So you've got some good ones. You have acrobatics,
Best friend.
perception, persuasion,
fucking
sleight of
best
hand, and
friend.
stealth. You know, so those are all, honestly, every single one of those is pretty useful. You know, somebody from a DM veteran, I typically tend to use expertise on skills I use a lot. But yeah, that's your pick, man.
Wow. That's fucking rad.
Yeah, for you that'll be a
Wow.
+3 bonus right now. So it's like you
Wow.
already get +3, but you get
Wow.
+6 instead.
All right. So looking at my character sheet, for sure stealth. Gotta hit the stealth.
So what I'm going to do, Roll20 has a little thing in it. If anybody's ever playing on Roll20, you can go into the individual skills, and there's like little click downs, and I can click that you have expertise in them, and it'll automatically do the tracking for us. So as your proficiency bonus gets higher, it'll automatically calculate. So stealth, you say?
Yeah, definitely stealth, and I'm gonna need the help of my friends for my second one.
Stealth, you say?
What are your options, bro?
What else do you
This
use a lot?
So I'm between perception and persuasion. Rial's an awkward guy, clearly, who was locked away for 7 years.
Then do perception.
So
Yeah, I'd say perception because
It's like
you
we
need
have
to
Divot.
like
Yeah, we have
I
Divot.
will persuade them.
look for clues and stuff a lot, you know?
Yeah, perception, bro.
Yeah.
and I think that does go really, really hand in hand with the stealth. So yeah, stealth
Yeah.
and perception.
So that's a great
Both, of
point
course.
there, Jake, and to kind of expound upon it. What's nice about perception, it is more often than not where I'm taking use of your passive perception. Like if people are hiding from you and you're not actively like, are there people hiding from me? Then it's just your
Right.
passive awareness. Maybe you would be like, wait, I just saw something in the shadow. Oh, there's a guy standing right there. You know, so your
That motherfucker.
passive awareness just got a
Sneaky
nice
my
boost.
shadows.
As well as your active, but it's perception is. Man, I hate to admit it, and it's probably my own fault as a DM, but in many campaigns that I play in, it's hard not to say that perception is not the most important skill in the game. It does get utilized a lot.
And in life.
Yes, exactly.
Life.
Yes,
You hit
truly.
me like with that with the last couple of sessions, just trying to like read it on these buildings and see if anyone was like trapped inside. But you
Right.
mentioned these like real world things like the great banging in the church and all this other distractive noise.
Great
Like
game.
if I can up that perception,
Yeah.
that'd be real nice.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. And so, and Rial, you, we will, just so you guys know, we are actually doing this before we play tonight. So we're going to play tonight on Twitch, and then we're going to upload this tomorrow. So you'll see us wearing the same clothes, but it's just kind of like a fun warm up for us to get ready for tonight's game. So I will touch upon this a little bit more, Rial, but this new strength that's welling in you, you know, your leveling up experience with this is not quite the same as Brunor's in the sense that you've actually tapped into a little of a darkness within you, and you found, you know, like you said, even you had to look away at that last moment when you did what you knew had to be done. And so it's through this new awareness, you're not as naive as you'd been before, where you saw the world in a strict black and white. And this awareness, even though it's daunting and it sets upon you, it is a big step forward for the mind of an adventurer. You know, you now are able to make decisions like life and death and make it and do it, even if it turns you. And we'll play up a little thing. We'll have a nice little moment in tonight's game that will expound on that. So, yes. Anyway, I'm sorry. I'm
that was
excited. I can't
amazing.
wait to play tonight.
That was amazing.
So yes. So that's pretty much between expertise and your hit points. That's about all that goes up for you. You might want to double check some of your abilities and make sure that they don't get stronger. I know sneak attack or your sneak damage doesn't go up. You're still at 3d6. But yeah, no proficiency bonus goes up or anything. So it's like I said, for our first guys, a little of a lighter level going to level 6. But yes, Rial, you're having some inner conflict that's leading to some pretty large growth within your spirit as you start to actually, you know, you've kind of been on the run and just trying to live for so long that now you're starting to understand maybe your purpose and some of your decisions, things you actively want to do, not responding to somebody else, but you have your own needs and wants welling within you. So that is that's our Rial Othravon,
Woo,
our
good
sad
shit.
story.
Hell yeah.
Arcane Trickster.
Oh,
Arcane
yeah.
Trickster is usually like kind of a silly class too. Like they tend to be like, hee, I'm a trickster and I'm doing weird things. Like ours
Not
is
Rial.
no Rial be burning down bridges and churches and like we didn't know. You know, if you torture someone for 7 years, they'll probably be a pyro.
Yeah.
All right, so I'm going to move on to our life cleric, Tina Smoothhands.
Get it low.
So Tina,
Hello.
a very and I try to explain this shift pretty keenly to you guys. At earlier levels, the martial classes, the fighters, the rogues, they tend to have the bigger punch in early battles. You know, as your spell slots are limited, you're not trying to use magic every round. You're using your cantrips more. Around this level, as I said, as we enter kind of tier 2, 5 levels 6 through 10. You start to see the pure magic users getting a little stronger and bending to the will of the world around them a little, and the magic gets really powerful. So to kind of go with that for Tina, you can now use your channel divinity twice per day instead of just once.
Very nice.
And remember, your turn undead, destroy undead ability, that's one way you can use it. If there's, you know, hit dice, half a hit dice or less undead, you just kill them outright. If not, they run away from you. You still have that even though you're not a trickster cleric. Or you have your cool new one from the life tree that you are now devoted to, where you get basically, it's like 5 times your level in cleric, and you can do a heal that can heal anybody that's wounded around you within like 30 feet. It's amazing. It's really within 30 feet of you. You can divide those hit points among them evenly. The only setback to that is you can't heal them past half health. So it's like it's to revitalize people when they're low rather than, you know, top them off when they're pretty full. But still very strong, and can turn the tide of a battle a lot. But you get a sweet new ability where I'm sorry, I had it pulled up and then I closed the book to show it to you. Here we are. Blessed Healer. So it's 6th level. The spells that you cast on other people heal you as well.
Oh yeah.
Pretty tight.
Yeah.
So the way it works is when you cast a spell
Yeah.
of 1st level or higher that heals somebody else hit points. Now it has to be casting a spell, so your channel divinity wouldn't technically count. It's weird, but it wouldn't. But if you cast a leveled spell, 1st level, 2nd level, whatever, you get healed for 2 plus the level of the spell. So, you know, if you cast like a 1st level cure wounds, you would get 3 hit points back for healing somebody else. Pretty cool little ability.
Amazing.
Especially for our Tina who likes to take some hits.
Yeah. Like? I don't know.
Girl.
And that's your divine domain feature that you get at 6. The other cool thing, you get one more casting of 3rd level spells. You have one more 3rd level spell slot. So now you have 4 1st level spells, 3 2nd level spells, and 3 3rd level spells, which is kind of what I'm saying, where it's like now you can use your magic a little more readily because you don't have minimal slots. But 3rd level spells are very powerful. You have Revivify, which is literally like bring somebody back from the dead that died within 10 minutes.
Cool.
It has a big component cost. Like you have to get, I think it's I have to double check, but it's 600 gold and diamonds, 300 gold and diamonds. And you use that, it's consumed by the spell, but it brings somebody back to life. So finding some diamonds and having them on you might not be a bad goal for you. I tend to do gems all together. Like I apologize. I don't necessarily care if it's a diamond or a ruby, as long as you're spending the 300 gold pieces cost in gems. It's a fair trade for me. So. But yeah, that's like, I mean, a game changer now. It's like you guys don't have to be as afraid of dying. Not that Divot's even worried about that right now. But yeah, that's it, Tina. You also, you know, Spirit Guardians. You've got some really powerful 3rd level spells now. It's like I said, as a caster, you're going to kind of start realizing you have a little extra punch as you start. Especially this next 6 through 10. I think they kind of rebalance around 10, and then after about 14, pure casters are just like hard to match. They can do some pretty cosmic stuff. So I'm looking forward to it, man. Great stuff. What about hit points? What did you want to do for that?
Yeah, I don't want to risk it. I think I'm going to take the average as well.
It's not worth it to risk. Right. Don't drop it.
Don't risk it for the biscuit.
Yep. All right. So boom. Tina. That's gonna take you. You would get the same. You have a D8, so you would get 5 plus your con modifier. In this case, that's 1. So you get 6 more. Taking you from 30 health to 36 health.
Cool beans.
And for the purposes of the game tonight, guys, I'm actually just like, we'll almost treat it like a video game level up. Go ahead, you're back at full. You have all your spell slots back as if you did a long rest. We'll probably get to a real rest in the story, but just for right now, so it's easier to deal with. Oh my gosh, when they played that, oh my gosh, I died. All right. Oh man. Okay, so sweet, yeah, that's our girl Tina. Boom boom.
Thank
The
you.
life yeah, you're healing like crazy now. Remember, you also get a bonus to healing from being a life cleric.
yeah.
You do extra healing with each of your healing spells. That has the same thing. It needs to be a spell, not an ability. So if it's a spell, you do what is it, like an extra 3 healing or something like that? Disciple of Life there. 2 plus the spell's level, additional healing. So awesome. And then this is going to bring us to our 90-degree shift in our boy Divot. So Divot, you have also come up with a very fun story-driven concept, and I'm all for it. Let's hear it. What is it? What is it Divot is doing right now?
So in an effort to cut some corners to get to the more powerful version of myself as quickly as I can, because I don't want to just be famous. I want to be like important. Me and Death have been getting kind of chummy, and Death made an interesting offer to me, and I decided that I would at least act like I was going to do it for the time being and ride it out. So I'm going to make a deal with Death, as it were, to become a level 1 Warlock.
Yes. So if you'll recall, Divot,
Whoa.
in the narrative, when you got back during the battle with the dragon, there was that burning energy around your hand that you couldn't channel. You had it, but you couldn't focus it. And by taking this acorn from Death and putting it within you, losing the skin from your elbow to your fingertips, you have actually signed a pact with Death. So the way warlocks work, they get their powers from an otherworldly source. Your otherworldly source is Death himself, the Red Mask of Death.
Hell yeah.
It's not, you don't have to be BFFs with him or anything. You're entitled to try to it's like you can try to manipulate and use. Just know he can cut your power off if you don't agree to do the things that maybe you've agreed. Like in your case, there's a soul still to be rended according to your deal. You do know, your warlock powers come from this agreement that you and he have. And so that those, they go together. So your otherworldly patron, which is a trait of the first level warlock, is Death.
I just want to.
Wow.
That's fucking awesome.
How do I?
So
Is there a way for me to add that on here?
Yeah, so what we're going to do, here, I'll pull you up, is we're actually going to, I'm going to character mancer you. Or wait, no, I don't think we have the character mancer for that book. Let me check. Boom.
I just want to make one thing sure, at least in my own head. So Death put its nut inside of Divot.
Yes.
And
it's acorn made of acorn stuff.
Yeah,
I didn't look it up.
Corn stuff.
All right, so you...
Death nutted in Divot.
There's your average. Oh, see, it's automatically doing Bard for you. Here, we're just going to discard an exit. I'm just going to do this way. We're going to go level.
So just for anybody who's not familiar, I guess, you can also be more than one class, but you don't get to take as many levels. You know what I mean? So, I can be a level 1 Warlock and a level 5 Bard. I don't get to be a level 6 Bard right now.
Right, but you are a level 6 character. So the proficiency bonus and stuff like that all relates to the full level. But yeah, so Gus is multi-classing, becoming a level 5 Bard, level 1 Warlock.
That's dope.
Fun.
He's got
That's cool.
there is prerequisites. You have to have a
nut.
certain charisma to do it, which he does have because he's a Bard. Warlocks are kind of a special class in the sense that they don't have a lot of the penalties other classes have for multi-classing. They're kind of built to wrap around another class. So they synergize really well. The cool thing, you get access to one spell, one Warlock spell, but that spell slot refills on a short rest. So whereas you have to wait for a long rest for your Bard spell slots to come back, your Warlock spell slot, you'll get one level, first level spell slot every time you short rest. And you can use that Warlock spell slot to cast Bard spells, which is pretty cool.
I also,
Yeah.
I also get 2 Warlock cantrips to add to my inventory.
That's right. You also get 2 cantrips. Yeah. Do you know which cantrips you want to take? Those are usually. There's one that's an easy one for Warlocks more often than not, but I'm interested to see what you picked.
Yeah, well, I figure I'm going to take Eldritch Blast.
Right.
Right.
That spell might as well be called the Warlock spell. Yes.
Yeah.
I'm going
Warlocking.
to take finger guns.
Yeah. Yeah. Totally. So yeah. Eldritch Blast, very powerful, probably the strongest, not probably, the strongest offensive cantrip in the game. Warlocks get a lot of cool things that they can do where they can modify it as well with some cool abilities as they get these invocations as they level up. You don't have any of those yet. But yeah, so Eldritch Blast is super good. But you do get
And
2.
I can just drag that over.
Yeah.
Oh, you did it.
Yeah, I just popped it on there.
And then, I think message is on the list?
Yeah, and what we did, because you've actually already got Prestidigitation, which was the one you wanted to take, we're going to give you message from the Bard list. And yeah, then we'll add message as well. Message is a great spell, especially for, man, I just love it for, like, especially the direction your character is going. You point your finger at somebody within, I think it's 60 feet. And you basically speak in your mind to their mind, and then you have a 30-second message, and then they can respond another 30-second message back. So Divot can now kind of talk to you guys without talking out loud, much akin to our Rocky Talkies.
Yeah.
Best friend, did we just get another best friend?
We just got another best friend.
But
Best friend.
without the attraction to dwarven
Come
women.
on in, best friend. Best friend, come on in.
Rocky Talkies. Yeah, and then you also get 2 Warlock spells from the Warlock spell list for first level. Do you have any ideas on those?
Okay. So I think I want to take Hex.
Oh yeah.
Holy snaps.
Yeah, Hex is amazing. You kind of curse the guy, and when you hit him, you do extra damage. Oh, do you not have Hex in this? I'll load it in for you. Don't worry about it for now. But yeah, we'll give you Hex. I'll just have to build the spell card for it. But yeah, it's a great spell. Here, I'll tell you what it does, friend. Yeah, you like hexes, eh? Let me tell you about it.
Tell me all about it.
Helps if I specify the English. There we go.
Wow.
Wow. All right, so yes, Hex. Basically, you put a curse on a guy when you can see him within range, which is 90 feet. Until the spell ends, you deal an additional 1d6 necrotic damage to the target when you hit it with an attack. So, and that includes your 2 beams that you get per casting of Eldritch Blast. So you do an extra d6 necrotic damage when you hit them. And since they're both attacks, it counts for both. So you do a lot of extra damage. When they're hexed, the target has disadvantage on ability checks with their chosen ability. So you pick like strength, dex, wisdom, intelligence, charisma. They have disadvantage on ability checks with that while they're hexed. And then when they drop to 0 hit points, if they die, after that, during the duration of the spell, which is up to an hour, you can use a bonus action to move the hex to a new target. Pretty cool. And it's like you can carry that with you. Like if you got in a fight and then 10 minutes later got in another fight, because of the wording of the spell, you can use your bonus action to still apply it as long as it's within the duration of the spell. So extremely powerful Warlock ability. I can attest to it. I used that spell with my Eldritch Knight that had Magic Initiate Warlock. I used that spell all the way up to level 20. That spell is that good.
Braylon,
Why
right?
don't we curse more people, like in real life? I feel like we don't curse things enough. Like,
It's like a moratorium on curses.
I guess, yeah, I never hear about people cursing things anymore. I only hear about old curses.
Yeah.
You don't hang out with enough witches.
You mean this?
Guess not. Are you cursing things?
For the
No, I
second
have a
spell,
fucking
do you have any
axe
advice?
inside of my fucking hand.
What was that?
Oh, yes.
Would you have any advice for the second spell? There are just so many options.
So, gosh, I can't remember what the word after the name is. Armor of Agesius?
Aegis.
Armor of... Let's see if it's in the compendium here. If not, I'll look it up in the PHP. Yeah, I'm just gonna look it up in the PHP. Yeah, it's if somebody hits you, they take damage, which is again kind of a cool flavor for what you're already doing.
Yeah, that actually makes sense narratively.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's like a cool little vibe with your skeleton hand. Yes.
Skeleton hand.
There it is.
What a
It's
chill
the
touch.
it is the
I'm just
armor
glad we're not calling
of
it bone thing.
Agathis. It's giving me an error. I don't know if Roll20 is bugging out for me right now. But yeah, Armor of Agathis. It's a cast. It lasts for an hour. It takes an action to cast. A protective force surrounds you, manifesting as a special frost that covers you and your gear. You get 5 temporary hit points during the duration, which is an hour. And if a creature hits you with a melee attack, so if they hit you with a weapon or a claw or a bite, you have, while you have the hit points, the creature takes 5 cold damage. So it's kind of a cool thing. While those temporary hit points are there, if they hit you, that's a little limiting by it. You can upcast it. So if you cast it using like a 2nd level spell slot, you can increase the temporary hit points and the cold damage by 5 for each slot used. So if you used a 3rd level spell, you would have 15 hit points and it would do 15 damage whenever somebody hit you. So, and that scales.
Is that only when they hit? Do I get to keep those temporary hit
So
points?
yeah, so just like an example of how that would work, you have 15 temporary hit points from this spell. A guy runs up and slashes you. Since it's a melee attack, he would take the full 15 damage. You would take 6 from the sword attack, and you'd still have 9 temporary hit points. As long as you still have any of those temporary hit points, every time somebody hits you, they take 15 damage. So once, yeah, it's real good. It has to be on you though. You can't. It's not a buff. You couldn't put it on like Thoricus or Brunor. It is a self-target spell, but it's a really cool. I think it fits with the narrative of your character.
I think I have the lowest HP in the group, so that's fine by me.
Yeah, and your AC's not super hot either. So you know, if they do swing at you, they do tend to hit. Yeah, really cool spell.
Head like 5 times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's one of those, you know, it's a warlock spell, so you have to, you know, you'll have it, you'll have availability to use it. And it's like if you're in a fight and you're in a good position, well, then you probably wouldn't use that spell, and you have a bunch of other cool ones to choose from. But that one is definitely like, you know, when you in the fight with the werewolf, when you got skewered by those 2 dudes, like that would have been a great time. They both would have been getting jacked just trying to take you down.
Not what it sounds like.
Yeah. I'm sorry, I probably used all the wrong
Real
words.
jacked.
All right. So yeah, anything else, Divot? I'm just trying to think. Multi-classing is awesome. Just a real quick little note on how there's an old kind of belief. So characters get stronger as they get higher level. And what happens when you multi-class is you don't get access to the really, really dope stuff at the high ends of those characters because you're splitting your potential between 2 different classes. So you get a bunch of cool flair and character stuff, but at the end of the game, and you know, it's debatable depending on how much you optimize, but it does tend to cut into the raw power of your character. I think in this case, Divot, with the way the narrative has flowed and just the things that have transpired, this makes more sense than almost any multi-class I've ever seen done. It didn't even seem like a stretch, and as soon as you hit me up with the concept, it was just like, yeah. So I love it, and now it sets the stage for a pretty fun and exciting night. If you guys are watching this on our YouTube channel, we do play live on Twitch every Tuesday at 8 p.m. Pacific on twitch.tv/ArtHardStudios. And speaking of twitch.tv/ArtHardStudios at 8 p.m. on Tuesday, that's what we're going to go do in very, very soon. Like, we actually have to hurry up because it's almost time. So thank you guys so much. Thanks to the cast. We have definitely gotten higher. I smoked a joint and a half. We like to close our ceremonies the same way we open them. You know what to do. You know, it's time. Take them lighters. We like to go lighters up. Thanks for getting higher with us, guys. We'll see you on Twitch. Ooh, yeah. Level up. Level 6.
Ooh.
It's
So what? You can't touch me, 'cause I'm from the internet.